Guys, and in this video we're going to be talking about lists, tuples, and sets. All right, and all these things kind of go together, especially with lists. All right, and so we're going to start talking about lists first. You might have heard me talk about that before. And lists are the unique one out of this because they're very dynamic, and you can change them, but they also take up a lot more data than the other ones. Um, but I would use if I'm making a program for users to use, I would probably use lists, all right? And so let me start by saying example list is equal to, and we'd start by saying a list by putting these two square brackets. Then we could start, putting some random numbers in here, right, for our list. And here, let's change it to 9 instead. And with lists, we can change values, we can add values, and we can, put stuff in there, all right? And so, for example, if I wanted to change the value of 4 right here, all I'd have to do is index 4, and then we can change it to a number 8, right? And then if we print it out, example list, the first index, it would be 8. All right, so what we can do, we can change values, we can add values to the list, right? We can append certain values. So if I wanted to append the number 90 in there, then let's say I want to print out example list. 90 would be at the end of it, okay? And there are different ways of printing out our list right here. We can print it out like this, but ideally we'd want to print out element by element, all right? So we could say for number in example list, print number, right? We want to print out each number on a different line. And look at that, it does it for us, okay? And so you can go ahead and explore a lot more about lists, right? Here, I'm going to show you one more thing. We can actually sort our list as well, okay? And then we print out our, let's delete that. We can print out our list. So list, by the way, cares about order, all right? And you can see that, well, first we sorted it all out by, greatest to least. But list cares about order, right? So if I didn't have this example list dot sort, it would print it out in the exact order as 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 32, 1, and 9. All right. So, in a nutshell, that is what lists are. You can go ahead. I really encourage you guys, after watching these videos, explore more about what I'm talking about because real learning takes place not in these videos, right? You learn the concepts in these videos, but the real learning takes place by you really, going hands-on with it and exploring it yourself, reading the documentation, and all of that. All right. So, let's move on to tuples. All right. So if I set an example tuple like that as a variable, we could just say that is how you denote a tuple with these two curly braces, all right? And so what we can do, we can just start listing out numbers again. It's hard to, talk about tuples and lists because, I can't say a list of numbers, right? Because list is its own thing. I can't say a set of numbers, right? So let's just call it an assortment of numbers, all right? And so if you might notice, tuples cannot be changed, right? They're immutable. So if I wanted to change this number 2 right here, we go 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's the third index. If I wanted to change that value to 90, for example, and let's see what happens if I do that. So we do that, and look at that. It gives us an error, and the error says tuple object does not support item assignment, all right? And it's telling us right here. And so what this error is basically telling us saying, hey, it's a tuple. We can't change the value of tuples, all right? So in a nutshell, tuples are immutable. And you might want to use tuples if you have a really big assortment of numbers, right? So if you have, over 100 numbers in here, you might not want to change anything, right? Because if you change one thing, then the whole data set might be ruined, all right? And also, it just takes up less data than a list, so your program will run more efficiently. All right, now let's talk about sets, okay? And remember, like lists, you should go and explore more about tuples, read the documentation, but here's just, the basics of what they are. So a set of numbers is a set doesn't care about order at all, right? So if we had our set right here, um, actually I think I'll talk about sets in the next video. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and go ahead, explore more, read about the documentation. All right, I'll see you guys later.